is a video of me explaining about what happens during your Rahu mahadasha. The Rahu mahadasha is an 18-year time period. And, you know, let's start with talking about the very different things that you can experience and deal with during your Rahu mahadasha. And I didn't take no notes for this video at all like I did for my previous mahadasha videos, because none of the books and videos I looked at really taught me anything new that I didn't already know. So I can basically just talk off the top of my fucking head when it comes to Rahu. So Rahu is the head of the Asura, of the deity, of the dragon, of Swabanu. You know, it's just a head, a being with a head and no body. And it's very symbolic, because Rahu is associated with many different things. It's associated with illusions, Maya, which means illusions. It's associated with ego and ambition and material desires and all this stuff. It's forward thinking, as an insatiable appetite and desire. And the head is something that only contains all five of our senses. It's the only part of our body that contains all five of our senses. And that's what Rahu is, a head. And wherever house and sign and nakshatra of Rahu is associated with, it blows up and amplifies the qualities and traits of the house, sign, and nakshatra that is associated with. So let's think about your head. Like I said, your head contains all five of your senses. The nose, your ability to smell. Your ears, your ability to hear. Your skin, your face, your ability to feel. Your tongue, your ability to taste. Your eyes, your ability to see. I believe I just did all five, but you know, you can do everything with all your sense organs. All of your sensory organs are on your face. They're not nowhere else. And with this logic, it sort of makes sense why some people debate about, oh, is Rahu exalted in Virgo and Rahu exalted in Taurus? And there really isn't no fixated position and sign for what sign is Rahu or K2 exalted in. But if you ask me personally, for what I just told you, I believe Rahu is truly exalted in the sign of Taurus, and K2 is exalted in the sign of Scorpio. And I say this because for Rahu in Taurus, what house does Taurus originally rule? Taurus originally rules the second house. The second house is associated with the face, because you see the first house is Aries. The first house is associated with the forehead. The first house is associated with that forehead area, this area above the eyebrows. And you know what's above the eyebrows? It's your fucking brain. And you see, this is why your first house, your ascendant, is very important. Because if your first house by logic represents the forehead area and your body overall, then that dictates your whole area. It dictates your whole life in general. Because as you think, so you do. Your brain controls the actions of your body. Your mind, your brain controls what the fuck you do. So, depending on the planets that's in your first house, depending on the sign and the nakshatras in your first house, that dictates what your brain, what your mind, and what your body will ultimately do and experience. But you see, the second house originally is ruled by Taurus, and the second house is this. It's this area from the eyebrows to like the chinny chin chin. Or you could say from the eyebrows to the throat, whatever. It contains all your senses. And this is why, you know, Taurus could be associated with a very sensual sign. And this is why Taurus' sister sign is Scorpio, which can be a very sexual sign. They both can be very sexual. Scorpio is obviously very sexual because it rules the sexual organs, but Taurus is very sensual. It wants to stimulate its physical senses, because it's from here that you can feed yourself. So a Taurus individual could want to feed themselves and stimulate their taste buds. They could want to smell good with their nose, smell good things, smell good food, smell good fragrances. Ears, they're going to listen to good music and listen to good things. Their speech, they might have a nice voice or whatever. And just the face overall, the eyes and stuff, they might be into plastic surgery and just looking real beautiful and just stimulating all their senses. But to stimulate this stuff, it costs money, which is why the second house is associated with finances, your personal savings and finances. You need to have, you know, income and continuous income in order to keep up these pleasures that you want to sustain yourself. And Rahu sort of wants the same thing that Taurus wants. So if Rahu comes into Taurus, these traits are going to be amplified and blowed up even fucking more. Which sort of makes sense why, you know, Rahu is sort of debated about whether it's exalted in Virgo or Taurus. I believe Rahu does well in both the signs of Virgo and Taurus, but it probably does the most superb in Taurus because both of their traits just line up. And then even from a mythological perspective, the planet that rules the planet that rules Taurus is Venus. Venus, the deity, the guru that's associated with Venus is Shukracharya, the deity and guru of the Asuras, the whatever. I don't want to say demons because when I say that or look at other videos debate, Asuras are not demons, they're Rakshasas. They're the demons. The Asuras are just these other beings. So I need a thorough explanation for someone who's more smarter than me to separate what the hell is the difference between the Asura and the demons. But the Asuras apparently are not necessarily just demons or whatever. But Shukracharya, Venus, is the guru of the Asuras, which is what Rahu and K2 are. So it makes even more sense why Rahu is really more exalted and better in Taurus than Virgo. But I had to get that off the top of my head because I know I haven't said this in any other video because it just recently came to me. But back to what Rahu can do in general. Rahu's associated with cats and lions and tigers, and Rahu is associated with photography and cameras and film because all those are like illusions and glamorous things. Ain't really too much more I can say about Rahu. Rahu is associated with foreign things. Rahu is associated with outcasts and stuff. What else can I say about Rahu? That's short and simple. One of the natural significations of Rahu. During your Rahu period, you might naturally just want to move. You might naturally move and just travel and go and just take a trip or go to another country or something during your Rahu mahadasha. I believe specifically it's seen that just the very fact that you're running a Rahu mahadasha at all, it's a good chance that you might just want to get married. Or specifically, definitely specifically, if you're running the time period of Rahu and sub period of Venus, it's a good chance of you getting married. But just Rahu in general, I believe, is stated that there's a chance that you might just get married during your Rahu period. You might move and travel to a whole different country or something during your Rahu period. During your Rahu period, you might take up a different belief system that is foreign and different from the family and household that you come from, because Rahu represents unorthodox, unusual, taboo things. Rahu and K2, they transit the zodiac signs backwards. They go against the natural flow of things. So you, during your Rahu period, you'll naturally maybe want to go against the natural flow and order of your household and your family and society, and you going against the norm might make you considered to be weird and different and isolate you from other people and things during this time period. During your Rahu period, you might begin to drink more and smoke more and do more drugs more. You'll do all type of things to stimulate your sense pleasures. So if stimulating your ability to eat and feel, I don't know, you can do a lot of things to stimulate all 5 of your senses. Like I said, you might stimulate your senses of feeling and all that stuff through drugs and excessive drinking, because you see, Rahu doesn't have a body. It's like it's eating and drinking things, but it's not getting full, it's not getting satisfied, so it just wants more and more and more. Overconsumption of things is something that can happen during your Rahu period. Illnesses like cancer or things of or unknown illnesses where you can't explain how the hell someone got this illness, or illnesses that is spreading over your body in a fast rate, can be associated with Rahu, since Rahu has to expand things. Rahu is is an eclipse. It's a shadow energy. So you might deal with paranormal activities, otherworldly, ghostly activities. You might want to research and look up aliens and other weird conspiracy theories during this time. Like I said, you just want to live life and do all type of things to fulfill your senses. And during your Rahu period, since Rahu is an illusion, since Rahu is smoky, since Rahu element is air and it's an eclipse, it brings darkness over the house and sign and nakshatra and planet that is associated with. It sort of clouds things. So you yourself, you might act and behave in a way that is unusual, that you have never behaved in before. You know, you might have, like, for instance, some crazy ass Will Smith Oscar slap moments. Like, what the fuck was I doing? Why the fuck did I just do that? I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just walked off my job. I can't believe I just cursed my parents out. I can't believe I just did that. Something might just come over you, and you just start behaving in a crazy, over the top way that you have never behaved before during your Rahu mahadasha. Like I said, so many different things can happen that I can't really specify it and narrow it down for real, you know. But as always, when it comes to the nodes and these dashas in general, you gotta look at the sign and the nakshatra and the dispositor of your Rahu. See where does Rahu fall in from your birth ascendant. See where house does Rahu go in from your moon ascendant. See what house Rahu goes in from your sun ascendant. And see where from Dasha Lagna, see the yogas that are being formed in your chart when you make Rahu your ascendant. And that will give you great detail and insight from those very different perspectives of what you will mainly and predominantly deal with during your Rahu mahadasha. I hope this gave you great insight and clarity on what you can expect during your Rahu mahadasha. And I'll see you when I make my next video.